I approached information technology from a very different trench than many who are dedicated to this and who maybe are, logging in with us today. I'm not an engineer, nor did I start a tech startup, nor did I work at a large tech company. It was my passion for public policy that brought me closer to technology already many years ago. In 1994, I entered the doctoral program in public policy at the Goldman School of Public Policy at the University of California, Berkeley. It was a time of a great revolution in technology. It was the year in which the first browser, the Mozilla browser, and the first internet search engines were launched. And many of us who were interested in public policy wondered how these technologies were going to affect the way governments acted and how they would seek to meet the demands of the population. In those years, I taught myself to program databases and web systems just a little bit later. Right at the time when those systems were just starting up, certainly they were just starting to make an impact on the way governments were run. It was this intersection between public policy and technology that encouraged me to create the company that I lead today, the Ergo Group, back in 1999. My ambition from the very beginning of the company was for Ergo to help governments make better decisions and offer better services to the public through the application of information in databases that they already held and the application of analytical tools to public policy problems. That, until then, had been prohibitively expensive, except for the wealthiest governments and agencies. I wanted that way of doing things to develop and be available to all governments, whether it be local or state or federal governments, or to different countries across different development levels. It hasn't been an easy road, but I want to tell you of an example of a project that I worked on that seems to me to clearly illustrate everything that can be achieved and how the government's work can be transformed with this vision of applying technology, modern thinking, analytic thinking, and the public policy lens. It's a story that I find interesting, but that starts from a topic that perhaps most of you will find boring, right? It's the issuance of passports and other official documents. I think we all know that passports are important documents. Sure, of course they're important. They allow us to travel, right? I mean, this one thing that we all want to do now that we're in this pandemic is to travel. But they're also important for other reasons. They allow people to identify themselves and to do this with certainty. They confer on the holder the rights of nationality. They're therefore instruments of great value to citizens and also documents in whose generation you have strong national security implications. Therefore, if we approach them from the point of view of the quality dimensions that they must have, passports are indeed complex documents. You see, they must be safe. They must be accurate in the information that they contain. They have to conform to certain international standards so that they can be recognized and recognizable throughout the world. They must be affordable for citizens, and obtaining them must be easy, but without compromising their security. Now, in the case of Mexico, there's another important dimension that derives from a national peculiarity: the enormous number of Mexicans who do not live in Mexico. Now, all countries have mechanisms in place so that their nationals can obtain a passport when they're outside their own country. But these mechanisms are based on the exceptional nature of the phenomenon that a person needs to renew or obtain a new passport while away from their homeland. But for Mexico, with more than 12 million Mexicans born in Mexico abroad, right, and almost all of these in the United States, the issuance of passports abroad is a priority. So you can imagine that the great challenge for the government of Mexico is how the hell to get passports to a population of 12 million people that is scattered throughout the United States. In addition, with the aggravating circumstance that a little more than half of these people are undocumented. And when I say undocumented, I mean not only that they don't have a valid visa to be in the United States, but in many cases that they don't have valid documents from Mexico either. Well, I began to get involved in this topic back in 2009, 2010 through a series of projects that I led for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Mexico.